Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the TAPPI Connect webinar, Why Your Committee Should Use It. My name is Kristen Whitman. I will be presenting today. If you all have been on TAPPI Connect, you've probably seen my face. I'm the community manager for TAPPI Connect. I'm the one that's there to keep things organized, give helpful tips, and make sure things run smoothly within the platform. If you ever need anything pertaining to TAPPI Connect, please reach out to me via Connect message with the Contact Us form or by email or phone call. And my information, email and phone information will be throughout the webinar as well as at the end. So in just a few minutes here, we'll get started. If you also need help from me, you can just post a discussion asking for help, and I will do what I can to smooth things out as quickly as possible, and I'll go over that in just a few moments as well. Once we get a little further into the webinar, I'll show you more about the discussions within TAPPI Connect. I believe that I have everyone muted, so I'm kind of feel like I'm talking to myself right now, but I see we have some participants, so I'm hoping you all can hear me. So before we really get started into the slides and the demo, if you all could reply back in the chat, maybe if you're able to hear me, or if you're not, that would be awesome. So I know that you can hear me and we can get this thing going. In just a few more minutes, we'll get started while the last few folks kind of come in. Thanks, everyone. I'm seeing your replies now that you can hear me. Great, 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 great. I'm also sharing my screen as well. So you should just kind of see a slide with the name of the webinar as well as the call-in information. Oh, well, you should have. I clicked out of it. And that sort of thing. So if you can see my screen as well, just make sure to let me know. And like I said, we'll get started in just a few minutes here. I know how it goes kind of on morning webinars. Sometimes it's hard to get in on time. So we'll get just a few more minutes before we get going. And I'm seeing that we can see my slides, so that's awesome. And I'll just kind of preface this too by, sorry I had to mute you guys all at the beginning, but the last webinar I did, it was kind of rough because we had everybody joining in and we got distracted by so-and-so joined. So I said, I don't want that to happen again. It distracts everyone. So that's why I kind of muted. So I appreciate you letting me know that you're able to hear me and able to see my screen through the chat. I appreciate it. Okay, without further ado, we'll get started. We have a good number of participants, and everybody who filters in afterwards, they'll hopefully be able to catch on. And I did want to mention also that this webinar is being recorded, so anyone who registered for the webinar and hopes to come but were unable to, I will post this recording on TAPPI Connect, just so everyone can see it if they were unable to join, because I know sometimes it's kind of hard to take an hour every day. But thank you so much for you all that were able to do that with me. So I'll go ahead and get started on today's webinar, Why Your Committee Should Use TAPPI Connect. So, we need to mention first, this webinar is held in compliance with TAPPI antitrust policy. Excuse me. Everyone is muted. If you have questions about the webinar, please type them in the chat box at the bottom of your screen. We will address any questions at the end of the presentation. Like I said, today's meeting will be recorded, and the recording will be available on TAPPI Connect in the next couple of days. But this webinar is held in compliance with TAPPI antitrust policy. So the agenda for today is we're going to go over the open forum in TAPPI Connect versus the division communities. And then we're going to go over the committee communities, which is really what we want to lean on today, what we really want to talk about, as well as community admins for those committee communities, which I'll go into further later. And then if we have any questions at the end, I'll be sure to unmute everyone and we can go over those if you do have any. But like I said, you can also post those within the chat if you have them as well. So if you've never been on TAPPI Connect before, I'm hoping you have. It's been around since September, well, we launched the open forum in September of 2018, but TAPPI Connect has been around since, I believe, 2016 when I jumped on with TAPPI. I became the community manager, and we've been trying to improve the platform ever since then. But basically what TAPPI Connect is it's an online resource for members, non-members, and volunteers of TAPPI. We want you to have a shared space to be able to collaborate, share documents, problem solve, and just talk and network online, because we know sometimes it's hard to get to some of the events. It's hard. Sometimes you go a whole year without seeing some people in your committee, or even longer than that. So we wanted a shared space just for TAPPI members and non-members, people involved with TAPPI, to be able to develop professionally and network with others in the industry, learn, and that sort of thing. And of course, I'll show you more what TAPPI Connect is in just a moment. We wanted to enhance engagement within TAPPI and allow volunteers to be involved in a big way. So that's kind of what our thought process was and our vision for why we started TAPPI Connect. And so a little bit further into our vision, like I mentioned before, it's a centralized place. So I know you can connect. There's lots of different ways to connect with people around the world now with social media and all the technology. But this space is a centralized space for the professionals within the industries of TAPPI. So we wanted a space just for you all that's private to just people that are involved with TAPPI. And this is also a secure space. So just know there will be no third party or advertisers within TAPPI Connect trying to sell you anything or that sort of thing. That's not what we wanted this space to be. We wanted this space to be a secure networking space for members and volunteers alike within TAPPI. It's an online home for every TAPPI committee. So if you're in a TAPPI committee, you will have a home. You'll have a home space, so you'll be able to discuss. You know, you might have things that need to be done or need to be said in between committee meetings. I know they happen. Some of them happen monthly. Some of them happen every 6 months, quarterly, that sort of thing. So it's a space for you to connect and talk and collaborate between those meetings and between in-person events. So it's also a comprehensive directory of all industry professionals. So we have a member directory within TAPPI Connect, which I will go over more in a moment. So if you're looking for somebody, if you met at an event and you forgot to get their business card or anything like that, you want to search the person and find them to connect about anything work-related or networking related, you can do that. You can find them within the member directory, which is really nice. So if they're involved in TAPPI and you're looking to connect or have questions for a particular person you might have met, that's a space to find them. We hope it's an easy to use and intuitive platform. We've worked really hard to make it that way for members. It's a pretty simple platform. It's just, we were just hoping that it's a place for you to discuss and learn more. So we hope it's a simple, and I'll show you more during the demo, that it is an easy to use platform. So without further ado, I'll quit rambling and I'll go into the demo that I keep mentioning about TAPPI Connect. And also while I'm pulling that up, I will just briefly show you guys the agenda that I have here. These are kind of the things that I will be going over within the demo. Like I said, the open forum versus division communities, committee communities, and the work that can be done within those communities, as well as if anyone is interested in being a community admin within TAPPI Connect. I just wanted to show you guys kind of what privileges, I guess, a community admin would have. So that community admin can be the chair of a committee, or you don't even have to be a chair. If you're just really involved in your committee and you want to make sure things run smoothly within Connect, you can totally be a community admin. And I just wanted to go over the features of that as well, just to let you know that it's an option. So we'll jump right into Connect here. This is what it looks like. If you guys have never been there, like I said, hopefully you have, and I'm sure most of you have if you're interested in joining this webinar. So this is the home screen of TAPPI Connect, and I am logged in as myself here. We have a little bit of information on this home screen that I did just want to briefly go over. So once you log on, you can see the slider, kind of what's going on within Connect at the time. Right now, we have a Committee of the Month going on, and they're highlighted at the very top here. This hero image changes, so don't worry, you're in the right space if you come on tomorrow and the hero image is different. I'll work to change that as much as possible. So when you go down a little further, you'll see that I'm logged in as myself, but of course, when you're logged in, it'll be you, your picture there, and you can see the latest conversations. So this is everything that's been going on in Connect, who's been connecting and discussing. And I did want to mention here on your home screen might look a touch different than mine, being that you're able to see the latest conversations within the open forum, because that's open to everyone, which I'll discuss more later. And you're also able to see any discussion that's going on within the division communities. But the committee communities, as I'll discuss a little bit later as well, they are private. So you must be a member of that committee to be within that committee community. So you wouldn't see, say I'm a member of one of the paper and board committees, but I'm not a member of some of the corrugated committees. I won't see the conversation that's going on within the corrugated committees, but I will the paper and board if I am a member of those. So that's the big difference between the open forum and the committee communities. But also, other than the latest conversations, what you'll see on the homepage of TAPPI Connect is announcements. So anything that's going on with TAPPI, anything that's new, that'll be posted here. Like you can see, we have the Ask the Expert that's coming up next month that we're really excited for, so you can learn more about that. We also have just a few things going on within TAPPI that we want you to be able to quickly find and learn more about. A little bit further down here, we have some upcoming events, and we have recently, we were so excited that we have been able to keep this calendar updated, much like the one on TAPPI.org. So everything, all our upcoming events and courses, they'll be placed within this upcoming events area, and you can look and find out more about what's happening around TAPPI as far as conferences and courses. We also have some recent blogs that people have posted, and if you're interested in blogging, please let me know as well. We can get you hooked up with that. And then lastly, we have the most active members. So that's kind of something we do to gamify TAPPI Connect. It's really exciting to see your name and picture up here if you're really active in Connect. And the way you get on this board is by making discussion posts, uploading library entries, and just logging on regularly. So you can see these folks do all of that. That's how they've accumulated these points. And lastly, you can also see the recently shared files. So I'll go into this in a little bit further, but as you can see here, just on this home screen, you can see that some of the committee metrics and things were shared within some of the committees. So that's a way for everyone to, they're looking for these metrics and it could get lost in someone's email. Instead of having that happen, they're able to log on to TAPPI Connect, go within the committee, and then they're able to see and jump on and find that resource just like that without having to run through asking multiple different people, oh, do you have these metrics on your email? Do you have these metrics on your computer? And that sort of thing. So, sorry, I was seeing we had some questions there, but I'm excited about that. We'll get to those at the end. So we'll keep moving forward here. I'm going to navigate over now, since our first item on the agenda is the open forum. I'm going to navigate over to the open forum in this separate tab I have here. But as you can see here, the open forum can be found here on the top navigation. There's a couple different ways you can find it, or you can find it here. But the URL is super simple, so it's connect.tappi.org/open-forum. If you type that into your navigation, into your bar, your search bar on whatever, if you use Google Chrome or Firefox or anything, then you can find it at connect.tappi.org/open-forum, or it can be navigated to here. So the open forum is one of our most exciting features within TAPPI Connect. This launched, like I said at the beginning of the webinar, this launched in September of 2018, so we're coming up on our year anniversary of the open forum. And so when we first launched Connect, a lot of people were kind of confused about what to use it for. So we said we're going to launch this when it was just committee communities. So we said we'll launch this open forum, which, as you can see, there's over 8,000 members, but these members are only folks that are involved with TAPPI. They can be a TAPPI member, they can be a volunteer of any sort, or they can be a TAPPI non-member. And what that means, if they're a TAPPI non-member, is they still come to some TAPPI events, or maybe, you know, purchase books or things. They're still within the industry. The industry is within TAPPI, but maybe they're not a member. So this is open to all as a space for folks to ask industry-specific questions, for them just to ask, you know, job-specific questions. This is open to all. So if you have a login, you're able to see this, this forum. So what this forum has done is it's been an awesome place. As you can see, we have 673 discussions within this open forum, and that just goes from people asking all sorts of questions and just answering in return. You can see a lot of interaction between a lot of different folks within a lot of different industries here. Of course, we had to have the guidelines and general rules just to make sure everyone kind of abides by those. But you see the folks that they're able to upload their image, so you can put a face to a name, and they just conversate. And people that have been, this is the space for people that have been in the industry. Sometimes young professionals come in and then they ask questions that they might be unsure about. And one thing that I would love to praise some of the industry experts on is that they've jumped in and they've really answered those questions for those young professionals, and sometimes they just have questions about things going on with TAPPI that we're able to answer in there. So this is a great place for networking and getting questions and asking questions and answering questions. So quickly, just really, I don't really want to go too much into the logistics of how to use Connect, but if you're interested in starting a thread within the open forum, all you do is you start a thread here, this green button right here on the screen that I'm clicking. And this will pull up here and you'll have this WYSIWYG where you're able to type in your question, add a quick subject, as well as then click send in an awful way that your discussion post goes. And it'll be posted within the open forum. So if you have a resource that you think is very beneficial, it's something that's really helped you along the way in your career, then you can also post that resource within the open forum as well if you're willing to let others see that. So the way to add some of the latest files, as you can see, some have been shared here, is just by clicking this add button here. Much like the discussion post, this resource tab will pop up, add to the library. You're able to enter a title, a quick description, and then you can choose what sort of resource you want to upload. It can be a YouTube video, a webinar like this. So that's what I'll do at the end of this webinar is I will upload this webinar to TAPPI Connect Open Forum for everyone to see if they were unable to be involved during the hour. Also a standard file upload, and that's the one we have that people use the most, and that's just uploading Word docs, PDFs, and PowerPoints and that sort of thing. So you kind of go through the process of uploading a resource here, and you can do that very simple and easily within the system. Oh, I jumped out of the open forum. Let me go back here. So that was just a quick overview of the open forum, and please, if you have any of those questions about the open forum, just type them in the chat. I'll promise to get to them. But you can see that open forum is really an open space for all people involved with TAPPI. So the big difference, the next thing that I wanted to go over today after the open forum is the division communities. And I'm sorry, some of these, we start talking open forum, division communities, committee communities, and it gets a little confusing. But so this is the open forum, and it's open to all. And these division communities are basically just like the open forum, very similar to the open forum. The only difference is they are broken down into industries. So we have coding and graphic arts, corrugated packaging, and so on and so forth. We have all of them listed here, all the way down to women in industry and young professionals. This is just listed alphabetically. So these communities are open to all as well. And I am actually a part of all of these communities, but I'm going to do a little switch here so I can show you what you guys might see if you haven't joined one of these communities yet. So let's see. So now, as you can see, I'm still able to see all 14 industry, all division communities, but now you see this join button that's beside each. So like I said, much like the open forum, you're able to join these, and these are open to all. But the big difference is that I feel like is something that we can use that we haven't really used too terribly much in TAPPI Connect yet, is using these division communities more so that you're able to organize things a little bit better. So within the open forum, it's just kind of scattered conversations about everything. And of course, you can go in the discussions tab and navigate, look at us, and you can see the subject, and you can kind of find what you're looking for. Oh, excuse me. Sorry about that, y'all. You can go to the open forum and find the subject that you're looking for, but the good thing about these division communities is that, so if you only want to ask questions about the coding and graphic arts division, you can place that in there just so it's a little bit more organized. Sorry, I'm jumping around here a little bit. But there we go. So if I wanted to ask a question about corrugated packaging, I would jump in here. And much like the open forum that I was showing earlier, you're able to post to the discussion. You're able to create a new library entry. So as you can see, this forum is a little bit different than the open forum as it hasn't been utilized nearly as much. But our reason for wanting to kind of utilize this area more is that as the upcoming events, they are broken down into corrugated events. So you're kind of able, so if you're in the industry you're within, you can kind of see more about that industry and what's going on within TAPPI for that particular industry. So it kind of keeps things more organized because in the open forum, you'll have to kind of bounce around and look for exactly what you're looking for if it's a corrugated subject. But in here, you know that everything that's under this umbrella is a corrugated packaging division community. That will be about corrugated industry. So that's kind of the difference between the two. And we haven't used this area as much as we want to, but we're hoping that folks will get in there and kind of utilize this a little bit more, because it is still open and everybody's able to see and interact, but it's just kind of organized more by what your interests are. So without further ado, the main reason we're kind of here today, and I was hoping that you guys were interested in joining this particular webinar, is so we could discuss the committee communities. So as you can see here, still within TAPPI Connect, you can see this tab that says communities. So if I click this drop down, I'm able to see all the divisions. So under here are each of the committee communities broken down by divisions. So say I am a part of some of the paper and board communities. What I'll do is I'll click within there, click on paper and board, and you see I'm able to see them. So see, if you guys aren't a part of the paper and board division, any of the committees within that division, you'll be able to see that these 10 total committees or subcommittees, but once you click inside of them, the information will be blank. So I am a part of some of these paper and board committee communities. That's kind of why I went in here. To say that I want to use, I always like to use the paper making technology and operations committee as the one to showcase for webinars and that sort of thing, because they are pretty active within their committee community. They have been since the beginning. So once I'm in here, you can see that there are 103 members. This is one of our larger committees within TAPPI. So the only folks that can see this committee community are these 103 people. But it's just much like the open forum and the division communities, they're able to post discussions, library resources, and that sort of thing. So some of the things that we were hoping for folks to do within these committee communities is share their meeting agendas and minutes. So that's something that this committee in particular has done a really good job of. If I go over to this libraries tab here, you can see that they have a few different folders here, agendas and minutes, webinars, and so on and so forth. So if I click under here, you can see that they have even child folders under here when they have a lot of their agendas placed from all their committee meetings, whether that be phone or in-person meetings. They've placed them in here, and that just allows for a good way for everybody to go back and reference agenda meetings or minutes in any way, so they don't get lost on other people's computers. All 103 folks are able to go in here and navigate and find what they're looking for. And there's no particular standard to how these folders are built out. However your committee feels best to organize the folders within the library, it's completely fine. It's up to you all. So that's a good thing we found to do within the committee communities. So if you only meet a couple times a year, you can stay up to date here. You can, if you're updating materials and reviewing some kind of process, you can do that within the committee communities. You can do outreach. Like I said, if you don't see each other but every so often, or you're unable to jump on phone calls or miss meetings, you can find information you're looking for within these committee communities. You can work on technical programs, like I mentioned, post minutes and agendas, and even webinars, much like I'll do this one. And a lot of our committees are working on new publications or magazines, so that's something that you can also do within your committee community. But just because it may be some information that's just committee specific, and you don't want anybody within TAPPI to see the information just yet. So it's just a way to communicate, work together, and get things done within your committee without broadcasting it to the world or without it getting lost in translation over email chains or in someone's computer folders. So that's a few awesome ways to use the committee communities. And so another thing I did want to mention about the committee communities is that you can be a community admin within your committee community. So if I scroll down here within this specific committee, you can see that we have 2 community admins. These can, like I said earlier, these can be the committee chairs, vice chairs, or so on and so forth, or it can just be someone who is very organized and that has been decided on to be the community admin by the committee in general. But I just wanted to show you a couple features that the community admin can do, whereas normal community members cannot. So you can see Todd and Colleen are community admins of this community here. So some things that they can do that regular members cannot is you'll see this settings tab up here within each community. So if I click that, they are able to manage community settings. They are also able to email community members. So send out one large email one time to all 103 of the members within this particular community. They're able to moderate community discussion in libraries. So as you can see here, there's none within this one because that's just a way to make sure the talk within the committee is based on committee work. Luckily, we've not had to do any kind of moderation of any of the discussions or libraries. That is a feature that is there. They can create and edit community events as well. So as you can see under this events tab, if I'm a community admin, I can add an event to this, and that could be a large TAPPI event that I want within this community, or it can just be an upcoming conference call that they want to make sure that everybody knows about and may be able to join. So they're able to add events, and it's super simple to add events as well, much like the discussions in the libraries. Once you click that button, it kind of tells you all the information you need, and it has a red star. Of course, it's required, so just put in all the information you have about that and then save the new event that you created. They can also create community announcements, which are a lot like sending out a full email, but if you don't want to just send directly to someone's email, you can add an announcement here. If you're a community admin, you're able to go in there and add an announcement about anything within the committee. This is also very important, something that the community admin can do. You can order and structure library folders. So as I was mentioning earlier, when I was over in the library area of Connect, these folders were added by either Colleen or Todd, who are the community admins of this particular committee. So they added these folders, so they pretty much decided how to organize this information. So if you're just a regular committee member, you're not able to add new folders. You can, of course, add resources, but sometimes that can be disorganized because you don't know exactly where to put it. But see, now if I was to add a new library entry, I could decide which folder I wanted it to go in. So you can create and structure library folders, which is really awesome as a community admin to kind of keep things organized and easy to find within your community. And of course, if no one is a community admin, then I've tried to set up a structure much like this within each committee to ensure that everything is as organized as possible. But it just kind of is nice for me to be able to be hands-off and for the committee to decide without me deciding how they want to organize their resources. And then also what a community admin can do is they can download community rosters. So under this reports area here, if you're a community admin, you're able to download the roster. So you can download in an Excel file all 103 members, just so you have a collection of who's a part of the committee, just so you make sure not to leave anyone out when inviting for conference calls or that sort of thing, as well as just running community reports in general. So if I'll click within this reports really quick, you're able to view lots of different reports here, as you can see. So being a community admin is basically a good way to make sure that your committee is engaging, to make sure that everything is organized and well thought out. It's a good way to be intentional within TAPPI Connect. So like I said, you don't have to have a community admin. That's what I'm here for. Is to be the overall community admin of TAPPI Connect. But if you're interested, I did just want to give that as an option because a lot of folks don't know that they can be community admins within Connect. It's just a way for you to kind of take charge of your committee and build things out like you want it without me having to step in and do any of that for you. So that's the options of a community admin within each committee. So let's see if I missed anything here that we want to go over. And I could have imagined that I would be ahead of time because, as I'm sure you guys can see, I'm a pretty fast talker. I really do. I really do try to slow down for these webinars and things. So I hope I didn't speed through anything too much. But it looks like I've kind of hit everything we wanted to on our agenda as far as going over the open forum and division communities, committee communities, and the things that you can do within the committee communities. And then the options that you have to be a community admin. And it's very simple for me to add you as a community admin. So I guess what we'll do now is I saw there was, I believe 2 questions. We'll go over the questions that were sent in the chat area quickly, if you guys are okay with that. And then we'll just kind of, any other questions that you might have, and then we'll wrap up. So let's see, without further ado, let me go to the chat. Okay, one of the questions was, how can I join one of the committees? Like I want to join Young Professionals. Okay, so that's a little bit outside of TAPPI Connect, but a good way you can start is you can reach out to us on the Contact Us form that's here within TAPPI Connect and let us know that information, but I actually have jotted that down here for you. So I'll put you in contact with the Young Professional Account Manager, Lisa Lockwood. I'm sure she'll be very excited about that. But one thing you can do in TAPPI Connect is you can, like I was showing earlier, under communities and then these TAPPI divisions. And as you can see down here towards the bottom, because it's in alphabetical order, we have a Young Professionals division that has over 2,000 members in it. This is basically the open forum, but just for young professionals. Oh, I'll pause that video there. So as you can see, the Young Professional division community has a lot of conversation going on, 95 discussions within the last year or so. So that's not too terribly bad. You can connect with any of these folks. As you can see down here, there's over 2,000 members in here. They have a few community admins, so that's nice to see as well. You can connect and you can just post you can start a thread introducing yourself and letting everyone know you're looking to get involved. So that's a good way to do that in TAPPI Connect, to get involved within the Young Professional division. But like I said, I will put you in contact with Lisa Lockwood, our Young Professional Account Manager, so she can get you hooked up even more and plugged in even more. So let's see, I hope that answered your question. So let's see, we have another one here. This says, what is the normal way people are organizing files in the libraries, asking for agendas and minutes organization? So the best way that I have found to organize files within the library is much like the paper and board committee, the paper making technology and operations committee, excuse me. It's just so everyone has this, let me go to this libraries tab here. Everyone has their overarching folder that's already created in there. So the best way to add those is to create, if you're a community admin, of course, or you can ask me if you don't have a community admin, is to go in and create a new child. So that's what they've done here. So this is the overarching folder that's already created. So a lot of folks don't have any of these child folders. They just have this folder that's already there and a lot of files under there. The best way I would say is to add a folder, a child folder, called Agendas and Minutes, much like this committee does. And then you can see under this drop down here, they have it kind of organized by year. So at first they didn't really organize it too much by year, but here recently, which is what I love to see, they have just put in the years, 16, 17, and 18. And I hope they're working on oh, there you go. You can see 2019 there as well. And once you click in here, they have it even organized a little bit further. So what I find best is, so this is a little different, maybe a little different than you hope to do, but what I find best is to create a child folder called Agendas and Minutes, and then even under there, kind of break it down by year, because I know each committee at least has a couple, at least 1 or 2, if not more, committee meetings throughout the year. So Agendas and Minutes, and then break it down by years. What I find to be the best organization tool for folders within TAPPI Connect. So let me all go in here now. I think that's the 2 questions that I saw previous to webinar. Let me go in here now and unmute you guys so anyone can ask any questions they have now that we've kind of went through everything. Give me just a moment here. Let's see. Unmute all. Okay. So it looks like I have unmuted everyone. So if anybody else has any questions they would like to ask while we're all here, that would be awesome. You can go ahead and ask it now in the chat or over your audio because I've unmuted everyone. I'll take that no response as a good sign. Hopefully that I didn't overwhelm you with my fast talking. So if there's no other questions, let me check the chat one more time. Yep, just those 2 questions. That's basically it for my demo of TAPPI Connect. So I guess all that's left to say is if you have any questions or comments or concerns about this webinar about TAPPI Connect, or if you have any ideas, please reach out to me at my email address, which is kwhitman@tappi.org, or you can give me a phone call, or you can reach out to me on TAPPI Connect, which will probably be the best way, as I'm always in here. I always have these tabs open. I'm always doing a little bit of work in here. Or you can reach me on this Contact Us form that I mentioned earlier. Has my phone number and my email there for you to reach me. Type in your message and you can get a hold of me in that way. Let's see. Oops. So I guess that's all for me today. I guess all that I have left to say. Oh, yes, you will have a quick survey at the end of when we hang up. You'll get a quick survey. If you could please answer that, and just to let me know. I think a couple questions are, if you have any ways we could improve TAPPI Connect, if you have anything you'd like to have a webinar for, please answer that survey and that'll get back to me. So thank you again for attending the webinar. Hope this was a great learning experience and you now feel comfortable getting involved in TAPPI Connect. If you're interested in joining or learning more about TAPPI Connect, like I said, please contact me. Don't forget that brief survey I encourage you to complete so we can have proper feedback on how to better serve you with these presentations as well as just within TAPPI Connect in general. Thank you for your time. This concludes today's webinar. Have a great rest of the week, everyone. Bye-bye.